So this is just the next verse that we discussed yesterday, where the four Kumaras are answering the question of Prithu Maharaj, what is in the best interest of everyone? He asked the question, Kshemam, what is in the best interest of everyone? So he discussed so many different topics, but then discussed about the pure devotional service. So we heard that yesterday it was mentioned about the lotus feet of the Lord, and these two verses, yesterday's verse and today's verse, is about pure devotional service. So yesterday we discussed that how the lotus feet of the Lord is actually very efficient in uprooting all the anarthas or all the fruitive desires in the heart. Today it is discussed that how one can get the shelter, one can get the real shelter in this Bhavarnava, in this, the Bhavarnava means, Bhava means this world, and Arnava means the Mahasagar. So Bhavarnava, one is actually going through so much trials and tribulations. So how Lord's lotus feet acts as a boat is described here. So let's discuss. Let's recite first. Krichro mahaniha bhavarnavam aplavesham.
Kricho mahan iha bhavarnavam aplavesham.
Sarvarganakra sukhena titirsamti.
Sadvarganakrama sukhena titirsayanti.
Tatvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Tatvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Krutvodupam vyasanamuttaradustararnam.
Krutvodupam vyasanamuttaradustararnam.
One more time. Krichro mahaniha bhavarnavamaplavesham.
Kricho mahaniha bhavarnavamaplavesham.
Sarvanakrama sukhena titirsamti.
Sadvarganakrama sukhena titirsanti.
Tatvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Tatvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Krutvodupam vyasanamuttaradustararnam.
Krutvodupam vyasanamuttaradustararnam.
One more time. Krichro mahaniha bhavarnavamaplavesham.
Kricho mahaniha bhavarnavamaplavesham.
Shadvarganakrama sukhena titirsamti.
Sadvarganakrama sukhena titirsanti.
Tatvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Tatvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Krutvodupam vyasanamuttaradustararnam.
Krutvodupam vyasanamuttaradustararnam. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Kricho mahan iha bhavarnavamaplavesham.
Mahaniha bhavarnavam aplavesham.
Sadvarganakrama sukhena titirsanti.
Sadvarganakrama sukhena titirsanti.
Tatvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Tatvam harer
Bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
Krutvodupam vyasanam uttaradustaranam.
Krutvodupam
उत्तरदुस्तराणम्.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I can try. कृच्छ्रो महान् इह भवार्णवम् अप्लवेशाम्.
Vichro mahaniha bhavarnamaplevesham.
षड्वर्गनक्रम् असुखेन तितीर्षन्ति.
Shadvarganakramasukena titirsanti.
तत्त्वं हरेर्भगवतो भजनीयमग्रिम्.
Tattvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangrim.
कृत्वोदुपं व्यसनम् उत्तरदुस्तराणम्.
Kritvodupam vyasanam uttaradustararnam.
Hare Krishna.
Can I recite again, Prabhu?
No, no. Only one chance. Anybody else new who wants to do? Okay, so let's discuss this verse. Says Krishro Mahaniha Bhavar Navamaplavesham Sadvarganakrama Sukhena Titirsanti Tatvam Harer Bhagavato Bhajaniya Mangrim Kritvodupam Vyasanamuttara Dustaranam. So Krishro means very difficult actually. Mahaniha. Mahan means very big and Iha means this. What is this? This is Bhavar Nava. This is the Sansar Chakra or Sansar. And Bhavar Nava. He says Iha Bhavar Nava. Bhavar Nava means the ocean of material existence. Aplavesham. Aplavesham, can we understand that Plavan is actually who can float there, and Aplavesham means the persons who cannot float through it. Shadvarga, why? Shadvarga nakram asukhena titirshanti. 6 types of senses. What they do, they are like sharks. Here it says sharks, but nakra also means crocodile, so you can understand both ways. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has told it as crocodile, but Prabhupada as a shark, so nakra is also crocodile, so you can understand aquatic. Shadvarga nakra asukhera titirshanti. So because of that, what happens is titirshanti is what? Titirshanti is crossover. Asukhena. So asukhena means here sukha means asukhena. Here it's defined here as aplavayisham shadvarga asukhena with great difficulty, it says. But here you can see that asukhena titirshanti. It's very difficult to go through it. Titirshanti is it has come from like tolerate. One cannot tolerate that. We're beyond toleration. It goes beyond that. Tattvam harer bhagavato bhajaniyamangri. Now you see one who actually takes shelter of harer bhagavato bhajaniyam. Bhajaniyam means pujaniya. Bhajaniya, pujaniya means one who is worshipable. Angring means feet. One who takes the shelter of the pujaniya or the worshipable lotus feet of the Lord. What happens? Krutvo dupam. It becomes like a dupam is the nav, the boat. Vyasana uttara dustaranam. So much vyasana is very difficult waves. Through the difficult waves, one can uttara means go ahead. Means it can like par kar lena means it can go through that thing. Dustaranam means very, very difficult. Dustara arnam. Arnam again here is coming from Bhavarnavam. So you can see that this arnam is again coming here. It means very difficult waves. One can go through that boat of the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is so beautiful verse here. And I'll read a little bit from Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, because these verses have been very nicely commented by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. So let's read and what he had told. Crossing samsara is difficult for the sannyasis and yogis. Aplavesham means those not having ability or means to cross. Aplavesham, one who cannot go through it. They don't have means. That's what. The root iti, it means to be able to, or the word can mean with the Lord who enables one to cross. There is a great suffering or kricha for those who do not have the means of crossing, because they desire to cross but cannot cross the ocean of samsara filled with crocodiles of six senses. If they are not killed by the waves of lust or devoured by the crocodiles of six senses, and if they are strong, though tired, and do not give up after a long time, somehow or other, by using the arms of jnana and vairagya among them, one may with very difficulty cross the ocean. You see how beautifully he says, actually, just can imagine. If they are not killed by the waves of the lust or devoured by the crocodiles of the six senses, or if they are strong, though tired, and do not give up after a long time, somehow or other, by using the arms of jnana and vairagya. Bhakti is not there, jnana and vairagya is there. Among them, one may with difficulty cross the ocean. Therefore, you should cross the ocean of samsara, difficult to cross, vyasanam, by making a boat out of the Lord's lotus feet, taking shelter of the boat of the Lord's feet to cross samsara easily, which becomes the size of calf's hoof print, is expressed in the following verses. So there is a very famous verse which will come in the 10th canto, which is Samashritaye padapallava plavam Mahatpadam punya yasho murare bhavam budhirvatsa padam param padam 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 yat vipadam natesham. For those who had accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Mukunda, or the giver of mukti, the ocean of material world is like the water contained in the calf's footprint. The place where there are no material miseries or Vaikuntha is his goal, not the place where there is danger in every step of life. So the entire Sansar Chakra is like all contained in the hoofprint of the calf. Calf's hoofprint is very, very small, so one can easily cross it. Now another verse also he quotes, Tvayambujaks akhila sattvadhamni samadhinaveshita chetasaike tvatpadapotena mahatkritena kurvanti govatsa padam bhavabdhim. O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nations, one follows in the footsteps of the great saints. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nations as easily as one steps over the hoof print of a calf. This is another verse from 10th canto, 10-30. So then he ends it. What difficulty is there should be no fear to get on to that boat. So that's what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says. Now we'll see very beautiful verse. We'll see the translation now and what Srila Prabhupada says here. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please.
The ocean of nescience is very difficult to cross because it is infested with many dangerous sharks. Although those who are non-devotees undergo severe austerities and penances to cross that ocean, we recommend that you simply take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are like boats for crossing the ocean. Although the ocean is difficult to cross, by taking shelter of his lotus feet, you will overcome all dangers. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada puts it so beautifully. The ocean of nations is very difficult to cross because it is infested with many dangerous sharks. So infested here is not infected, it's infested. So many different sharks or so many different crocodiles are there. So it's so difficult. And although those who are non-devotees undergo severe austerities, tapa and Austerity is tapasya and penance is same. To cross that ocean, we recommend that you take, who is recommending? The four Kumaras are recommending. Simply take the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, which are like boats. So what is the difficulty, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says? Although the ocean is difficult to cross, by taking shelter of the lotus feet, you will overcome all dangers. So here it says, Vyasanam uttara dustararanam. So that lotus feet, taking the shelter of the lotus feet, one can go beyond the material nations and get to the supreme abode of the Lord and get the mercy of the Lord. And that's by pure bhakti. How one can have that? Bhagavato bhajaniya mangri. By taking shelter of the lotus feet means by pure bhakti. So let's see purport what Srila Prabhupada says.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Material existence is compared herein to the great ocean of nescience. Another name for this ocean is Vaitarani. In the Vaitarani ocean, which is the causal ocean, there are innumerable universes floating like footballs. On the other side of the ocean is the spiritual world of Vaikuntha, which is described in Bhagavad Gita 8.20 as Parastasmatu Bhavo Anyaha. Thus, there is an ever-existing spiritual nature which is beyond this material nature. Even though all the material universes are annihilated again and again in the causal ocean, the Vaikuntha planets, which are spiritual, exist eternally and are not subject to dissolution. The human form of life gives the living entity a chance to cross the ocean of nescience, which is this material universe, and enter into the spiritual sky. Although there are many methods or boats by which one can cross the ocean, the Kumaras recommend that the king take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, just as one would take shelter of a good boat. Non-devotees who do not take shelter of Lord's lotus feet try to cross the ocean of nescience by other methods, karma, jnana, and yoga, but they have a great deal of trouble. Indeed, sometimes they become so busy simply enjoying their troubles that they never cross the ocean. There is no guarantee that the non-devotees will cross the ocean, but even though they manage to cross, they have to undergo severe austerities and penances. On the other hand, anyone who takes to the process of devotional service and has faith that the lotus feet of the Lord are safe boats to cross that ocean is certain to cross very easily and comfortably. Should I pause, Prabhu?
Yeah, let's see another, if anybody can read this. Nobody is available, so then you can read.
Can I read?
Yeah, sure.
It's from Prithu Maharaj, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
Prithu Maharaja is therefore advised to take the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord to easily cross over all dangers. Dangerous elements in the universe are compared to sharks in the ocean. Even though one may be a very expert swimmer, he cannot possibly survive if he is attacked by sharks. One often sees that many so-called swamis and yogis sometimes advertise themselves as competent to cross the ocean of nescience and to help others cross, but in actuality, they are found to be simply victims of their own senses. Instead of helping their followers to cross the ocean of nescience, such swamis and yogis fall prey to Maya, represented by fair sex women, and are thus devoured by the sharks in that ocean. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
So much. So Srila Prabhupada starts very beautifully. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. He says this ocean, another name is Vaitarani. So you can see Vai means like in Vaikuntha is there, right? There is no Kuntha. So Vaitarani means you cannot, Tarani means to cross over, cannot cross over. That is so difficult. The Bhavarnava is Vaitarani. In Vaitarani ocean, which is a causal ocean, and there are innumerable universes floating like footballs. If you remember Purusha Avatar as the first Purusha Avatar, when he breathes, universes come. When he breathes in, when he breathes out, universes come as bubbles. And then when he breathes in, then everything goes back. And there is Pralaya. On the other side of the ocean is the spiritual world of Vaikuntha. And if you remember the chart, beyond the Viraja river is where the spiritual world starts. And then there is Shivadham, and then on top of that, then the Vaikuntha, which is described in Vaikuntha Lokas, different Vaikuntha Lokas. And the culmination is the Goloka Vrindavan of all the Vaikunthas, which is described in Bhagavad Gita as Paras Tasmat Bhavo Anya. So Krishna says, Parah Tasmat Bhavo Anya. It is quite different. It's not of these words, it is Parah of that. That is my abode. Thus, there is an ever-existing spiritual nature which is beyond this material nature. Even though all the material are annihilated again and again in causal ocean, the Vaikuntha planet are not. So they are spiritual. And even Dhruva Loka, which is part of this, we can see it, but it is also part of one of the Vaikunthas. So it also never gets annihilated. The human form of life gives the living entity a chance to cross over, because this is the only birth that one can understand that who he is. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. He try to understand who he is, and what is his or her relationship with the Supreme Lord. And only in this birth one can understand human form of life. Any other form is so difficult. So that's why there is a chance here. And then Srila Prabhupada goes on to say what different methods or boats are there. There are different methods, but we have to go with a very strong boat. Weaker boats would have problems. Very beautifully, Srila Prabhupada says, you can see here that try to cross the ocean of nations by other methods like this. Indeed, sometimes they become so busy enjoying the troubles. Now, can you understand what is enjoying the trouble means? So means that's so nicely Srila Prabhupada puts it. Enjoying the trouble means whatever the material things come, material hankering comes, we think that they are so enjoyable. Let's enjoy here. All those things like all the material prosperity and all other things which comes, we try to enjoy that. And we say, oh, let's enjoy. Life is there, but who has seen what happens after death? So that kind of thought process is there. So then say, why to cross over this ocean? The ocean is so beautiful, so nice. So let's do it. But there is no guarantee that now. So then Srila Prabhupada says, non-devotees, there is no guarantee for them to cross the ocean, because they are enjoying there, and one time. But even if though they manage to cross, they have to undergo severe austerities and penances through that. Tapa and Gyan, by Gyan Marg, if they want to go, they have to go that route to cross that. On the other hand, anyone who takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, or takes shelter of the devotional service, has full faith in the lotus feet of the Lord, he can cross easily, as we saw that heard the two verses from 10th Canto, which tells that the ocean becomes a small puddle, very small, very, very like a calf putting his leg. You can see how much water can be there. So one can cross it. That is how it becomes, by the mercy of the Lord. Then Prithu Maharaj is therefore advised to take that boat to cross over all the dangers. Because even an expert swimmer cannot swim, because there is always, like if a swimmer is going on, but there are sharks or there are crocodiles there, that is their place. Crocodile, sharks, that is their place, the water. One cannot swim in their place. They are the kings there. Like for example, the example of the Gajendra and the crocodile. Gajendra is the king outside, but when inside the water, who is the king? The crocodile. So giving an analogy that our senses are very strong, and if we are not engaging in the service of the Lord, Supreme Lord, then it will engage in the service of Maya. And when it engages in the service of Maya, then there is very, what do you say, little chance to get out of it. So the competence goes down. They become simply victims of their own senses. And Prabhupada explains that there are some sannyasis, swamis, yogis, they attain popularity, and after that, when they get the upadhi and everything, then because they are not focused on the lotus feet of the Lord, what happens is they get attracted by the fair sex, women, or upadhi and all those things, and that's why they are devoured. And all their efforts that they have done are going into vain. So that Falgu sannyas or Falgu vairagya has no meaning. It is just a show. Krishna says in the third chapter that it is like one becomes like a pretender. So what is the message for all of us here? The message is to take to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and ride on that boat. There should be no fear into getting into that boat. So that boat is available for us. And Lord is very merciful. Just by thinking about him, we can, just by chanting his names, just by hearing Harikatha, we can go into that boat. And that boat is very, very strong. It makes, normally the boat is not required for a paddle, but still, if you think about a boat, Lord is there working, Lord's lotus feet is there, the devotional service is there to take us out of this very difficult senses, which are always putting us in this sansara chakra, in the cycle of birth and death. And always we are coming and going. And by devotional service only it is possible. Like it uproots all the different fruitive desires, same way it helps us to go through the material ocean to the spiritual world. So I'll pause here. If there are any realizations, questions, corrections, they are welcome.